Another late night with DAGR. Last night was a real late night. After the deprogram, I did my late night with DAGR, and then Jeff did a surprise broadcast again. That's probably why he's not on tonight. He did the double, and I fell asleep watching that last night. So after I do my late night with DAGR, I'm going to watch that again because it started off really, really good. So I couldn't find. He didn't post that on Odyssey. So what I'm gonna do is I got two Odyssey apps on my Roku TV. So one of them had like all the new stuff which I've already done, and the other one has a bunch of random old stuff. So I'm gonna go with the random old stuff. This show I'm gonna be watching right now is with Zachary Hubbard, Last Stand, and we know him. He likes to talk about gematria. I actually used to follow him a lot before I ran into GED online on my feed. So today, last night I was supposed to work for Mister. Karen was supposed to message me, but he messaged me after my buddy messaged me. My buddy texted me. He's like, "Can you help me tomorrow?" Yeah, sure, no problem. So I went and helped him this morning. We did. We delivered a bunch of. He got a bunch of salt, like de-icing salt. We delivered it to property managers that he has for customers, and then we dropped the rest of them off at the main guy there. Instead of dropping it at all the houses, so the rest of them we just put in their garage so they can use it for any of the other clients they have. So that was the first thing we did, and then we went and finished a step for his neighbor. So that way it's nice and sturdy for him in the winter because he was using like a temporary step that was kind of like metal, so it would have been slippery. So he was happy with that. We got that all done. So paid me, and then I went right away and um, bought some stuff with it. Bought some stuff at Dollarama and bought a gift card for future purchases in the future. I didn't have enough time really today, so went home and yeah, just been kind of chilling. I haven't really done too much. I was gonna go for not the riders, Ticats, but didn't bother going today. It was a later. Oh yeah, that's right. We went back to his house and we organized the truck so that instead of going home and then get ready for the Ticats, I went and did that. So I was there till 4, and was going to go out shopping after I was just because it was a late day and I was a little intoxicated. I had 3 Labatt Blues and I had only eaten like toast for breakfast, so I didn't have much to eat. I did drink. I had a coffee in the morning and some juice, but that's about it. So finally sobered up here and had a nice shower. Didn't put any beard oil on yet, but that's okay. I might do that tomorrow. I did get in time. I got back home here at the house. Just missed the Real's French onion soup, so luckily there's some in the fridge. So I heated that up. So I'm going to start off with some French onion soup. One of my favorites growing up, obviously being half French. Oh, so good. There's lots of it actually in the fridge, so downstairs. So I'm going to be grabbing some more probably later after this. Anyway, that's my update for today. And tomorrow I will be going back to Mr. Karam's house. I'm maybe going to see his DeLorean. We'll see. I checked out his website and he's got so many cool cars in his collection. So definitely going to be chatting him about all that stuff tomorrow. But without further ado, let's check out the deprogram with Zachary Hubbard. About an hour and 11 minutes long. Loading up.
Well, greetings and salutations, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, I see.
Girls,
so the
children
last
of all
stand is
ages.
with
It is
Jay
Monday
Campbell,
night.
so it's a
You know
threesome
it's
interview.
time for the last stand. As always, I'm joined by my broadcast partner, Jay Campbell. And
Oh,
tonight,
so I didn't know
really
this.
excited
So last stand was
and tremendously honored to be
Jeffrey
welcoming
and Jay
back
Campbell.
Zachary Hubbard of Gematria. Is it News Effect or Gematria Effect News?
However you want it, but it's Gematria Effect News.
Gematria Effect News. I just bought his book yesterday. I should have bought it before now. It's called Letters and Numbers. I'm looking forward to great stuff from it. Zach, since I'd leave something out or put something in you don't want, go ahead and introduce yourself or reintroduce yourself to our audience, please.
Sure. So I'm known as the letters and numbers guy. I'm often putting out videos and blog posts educating people about how every single day, by understanding this code of letters and numbers, which is known as gematria, you can see through propaganda, rigged elections, rigged sports games, ritualistic deaths. And in tonight's show, we can talk about all the major headlines today. Today's a prime example of what goes on every single day. So,
Absolutely, that's what we're here for. And I know we wanted to dive deep into the current events and even the things about pro sports, because even though people, pro sports are kind of, they're marginal, but it still is a great way to show that this gematria, and I'll pronounce it correctly, is a real thing. Jay Campbell, what's on your mind tonight in regards to what we're going to talk about with Mr. Zachary Hubbard of Gematria Effect News?
There you go, you got it. Well, first off, it's good to see you, Jeff, obviously. Zach, great to see you again. I'm glad you're back. Your first podcast you did with us was awesome. We had a ton of people. And, gematria and numbers and numerology and all this stuff just absolutely fascinates me. I did buy your book a long time ago, and I probably read through it a couple of times already. It's just mind-blowing. I feel like it opens up more doors to more answers that are like even more difficult to even interpret, because again, we're in the matrix, inside an enigma, wrapped in a riddle. And it's just like, how do we truly, as aware people or beings, conscious co-creators, how do we really even determine what's going on? It's just, I feel like, Jeff and I talk about this all the time now. Like, I feel like there's really no reason to continue to go down more rabbit holes. It's just a matter of like, what
I love going down holes.
To serve other people, to love, to be kind, to work yourself, right? Because that's all you really can control is yourself.
That's right.
Because everything else
Work
is
on
just
yourself.
Like circus. But obviously Jeff sent me what you wanted to talk about, Zach, and so I promoted today. I talked about the burning of religious sites, the religious related shootings, and then of course we'll save for the end professional sports being rigged, because that's a fascinating topic, and I know you have a lot to say, but so do Jeff and I, because we've been like talking about amongst ourselves for years about that. But I just, to open up tonight, I want, push to you, Zach, here in a second, but I really think it's time. I know Jeff and I discussed about this today. I'm going to probably piss some people off right now, but I really don't care.
Yeah, that never happens, Jay.
We've been doing it for 2 years now, almost. And if you're still a religious person and you're watching our show, you need to check out now. Okay? I mean, honestly, like, I don't care if I offend you, but Jeff has done a great job proving that religion is made up. The teachings, obviously, the spiritual foundational principles of every different religion are all amazing. But if you're truly going to church every Sunday, whatever, creed that you worship, and you're, bowing down to Yahweh / the demiurge / whoever it is, then why are you watching our show? You're wasting your energy. Because you're not learning, you're not actually going out into the universe to collectively make the vibration of all of us higher. Because you're giving your energy and your prayers and your devotion and all that other stuff to literally the people or the thing or whatever it is that literally
The Soviet regime.
80% of the masses asleep.
That's right. NPCs. All
What else do I need
NPCs.
to say, Jeff?
Zach, the one thing that I get from people sometimes about gematria, and you've probably heard this, they say that when they look at all these numbers, they look at all these codes, everything's connected, it can sometimes give people a sense of hopelessness. Like, it doesn't matter what I do, it doesn't matter if I try or if I don't try. The game's rigged, the deck is stacked against me, the cards are all rigged.
Still have free will.
Why should I even try if the whole thing's against me? How do you respond to that from a gematria expert perspective?
sure. So my whole purpose in this work is to show people the agenda that we're living out, the mind control that's being waged against us,
Yep.
and who's responsible so that we can identify it and we can stop it. So to me,
Well, I think we could
my
pretty
message
much.
is the exact opposite
Hey,
of
Christy.
hopelessness. It's about, shedding light
I think
on
we know who
what's going
is
on
behind
and
all
who's
this.
responsible. And with regards to what Jay was just saying, he's speaking against religion. Religion is mind control, just like government is.
Hello?
Absolutely.
So,
I agree with
On
Zach on
that
that one. That's
subject.
for sure.
well, let let me make sure. Do you guys want me to take the floor and talk about
This
today?
is one of
And Zach, let me just say
JD's
something. I heard you
old
on the- I
interview with
was watching some of
Zach
your
because he did a
videos, and I
most
heard you
recent
say
one from him
that
with him,
my
and
channel is the most
let's
important
just put it
truth
this
channel
way:
out there.
he
There's
no
nothing
longer
more important.
comes on
And
Jeff's
to be
show.
frank with you, I wouldn't want you on this channel as a guest if you didn't feel that. So go for it, brother.
Sure. So I am a bit arrogant. It is a flaw, and I have said that before.
Jay and I know nothing about that. We're miles away from that.
Okay. So, all right, let's talk about religion and government. And today, April 29th, the 119th day of the year, in light of what's circulating in the mainstream media. When I woke up this morning, CNN, which is my favorite news network to pick on.
I think everybody's
I love to pick on all of them,
favorite.
but I love to pick on CNN.
Communist News Network.
CNN's top story this morning was about how in the past 6 weeks, there's been terrorist attacks on churches, mosques, and synagogues.
Of course.
And here we are on the 119th day of the year, 119. And whenever I see that number
9,
or hear
10,
that number, it always
11.
makes me think of one day, and that is September 11th, where the
Right.
majority of the world writes that date 11/9, like 119.
And Zach, just explain that for a minute, because I lived in Europe, and I know what you're meaning, but I don't know if everybody does. Please explain what you're saying there.
Sure. So in the
I'll be
United
going and
States,
grab
we
more
do
later.
things different than most people.
Love
We would
French
write
onion
it
soup.
9/11 like 911, but the majority of the world writes the day before the month. So the majority of the world would have written the date September 11th, 11/9. Clear? Okay. So on September 11th, recall what happened. There was this terrorist event. The U.S. government came out and said it was an act of radical Islam. And on the BBC that day, you had Ehud Barak, the leader of Israel, go on television and say the United States needed to declare a war on terrorism. And he named Afghanistan and Iraq specifically. He said that's who you need to go after.
By the way, did he do that before? He did that before it happened, correct?
Well, he might have done it before it happened, too. He also did it
Wow.
right after. So,
Right. Well, no, but I mean, I remember reading. I don't mean to cut you off, but I remember reading that he did it because remember the time difference. He actually did it that day and in the morning in nation state of Israel.
Yeah, it's all planned. They were
Well,
behind it
surprised me
anyway.
at all, because let's not forget that the dancing Israelis were
Right.
arrested in New Jersey and
Yes.
sent back to Israel, where they went on live television.
Dancing
and said they were gonna document the
Israelis.
offense because they had foreknowledge.
And make no doubt, there were
Sounds like a
dancing
night.
Israelis. That wasn't just a wives' tale. It really, truly happened.
Yes, it did.
That sounds like a good act to see.
Now, this code of letters and numbers, again, it comes from Jewish mysticism known as Kabbalah. In Kabbalah's
right.
text, the Book of Formation, it's stated in the opening paragraph. And anybody can get this text. You know, your favorite online bookseller has it. It's probably about $5. You don't even have to read far into the book. You just have to open it up and read the first paragraph of the first page. It opens by saying, God created the world by merging the letter with the number with the word. And
Interesting.
the people who are in control of this world, we call them the Cabal. And that name comes from Kabbalah. These people are playing God over our lives
They
by
are.
using this code that's believed to be
I just
the
can't
code
wait
of
to
God.
see what they do this winter.
And in this code, just using the alphabetic order, all-seeing eye is 119, as in your mind's eye. So is Star of David. So is Orthodox. If you use the rules of numerology, Ashkenazi Jews is 119. This is a special number to these people. And if you read CNN's article this morning, all of the commentary on it is from the Anti-Defamation League, a Jewish organization. And you're hearing about this April 29th, the 119th day of the year. Now, if you go back and you look at September 11th, you're going to see some interesting things. If you look up the history of Osama bin Laden, his father supposedly died in a plane wreck September 3rd, 1967. Now, September 3rd is the day leaving 119 days left in the year. And think about that date, September 3rd, 9/3, the day leaving 119 days left in the year. If you ask me, that reminds me of the 93 World Trade Center bombing
Oh, yeah.
and Flight 93. The building that now stands there, One World Trade Center equals 93. It's a whole other
Wow.
side topic. It's another special number. But 93, 119.
Crazy.
Here's another thing you can look up that's funny. From the day that Obama took office, January 20th, 2009, to the day Osama bin Laden was reported dead. Obama, Barack Hussein Obama, Saddam Hussein Obama. I mean, it was
Letters
such obvious
and
talking. But anyway, if you look at from the day that
They're
Obama took
laughing at
office
us.
to the day that they reported Osama dead, when they gave us that nice picture with his back to us and said, "Oh, there he is, he's dead." That was May 2nd, 2011. From January 20th, 2009 to May 2nd, 2011 is exactly on the nose a span of 119 weeks.
Wow.
119. And
They
the thing
love
about
using
May
numbers. It's
2nd,
crazy.
5-2 is the word terrorist has a gematria of 52. So does president, so does government, so does authority, so does White House, so does Kabbalah, so does gematria, so does the Cabal. They're all 52. 52. And today, April 29th, 19, happens to be a day with 52 numerology as well, which we're going to get to, because today, the leader of ISIS spoke out for the first time in 5 years.
That's
A
right.
terrorist plot was supposedly thwarted in Los Angeles.
The leader of ISIS, you mean trained in Langley?
Exactly. The guy they call Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. A completely ridiculous...
I mean, hold on, Zach.
Al-Baghdadi. Doesn't sound
Okay,
anything
hold on
like
one second.
Baghdadi at all.
Sounds like a gay porn
This is
name.
important. Now, obviously,
Baghdaddy.
this doesn't apply to people watching the show.
23 Jim Carrey movie? No, I didn't see that
What
one.
percentage? And this
I've
is
seen
a
lots of
very
Jim Carrey
important
movies, just
question.
not that
what
one.
Percentage of people
Good Canadian
out there
boy
right now
from
in the
around the
world
area I'm
watching
from in
that
Ontario.
actually believe at this point in time now, knowing what we know, that that's real?
95%.
Isn't that unbelievable?
It
Can
is.
you imagine the brainwash and the conditioning and the, as you call it, the mind control that is over people, that they have seen what they have seen the last 25 years and still believe that that's true?
And to Zach's point,
Yeah,
it's not
that's my
just people that
parents, 'cause they watch the
CNN,
news morning,
people that
noon, and
watch
night.
Fox,
Everyone.
just as much.
Oh, will do.
Right.
It's called
Right.
23,
And
number
you're saying
23.
it right there. You're using that word believe, the word that has
I wonder if it's
live
on my Roku
No
TV.
idea.
Every time I check a movie
And-
on there, it's never on
And
it.
again, almost all
cool.
all of us grew up, not everybody, but a lot of us grew up with the same background. We grew up in a family that was probably part of a religion, and from a
Right.
young age, we had parents that wanted us to believe, and then we were sent off to school and we're taught to, follow the authority and
Yeah,
not
be a
question the
good boy and
authority.
listen.
So we're getting this programming, this way of living and operating. from a young
You're
age.
programmed for the first 7 years of your
For
life
almost
when
all
your
of us.
brain is in
And For
theta.
whatever reason, some of
Crazy.
us have the minds.
That's
to
why the
break
Jesuits
out of
created
it.
Catholic school.
But obviously,
Indoctrinate
it's
all the
flaw
young
of human
kids.
species, not enough. So, I mean, you can understand why people are believing and not thinking and questioning, because it's how almost all of us were raised.
Right.
And I'm somebody who was kicked out of confirmation class for, asking how a man could survive in the belly of a whale or a giant fish,
Good for you.
And that's all I need to see. I was like, well, if I'm going to get kicked out for asking questions, I mean, I got better things to
Dude,
do.
I ran out of Catholic Church. Everybody knows I ran out of Catholic Church at 6 or 7. I don't remember. But Jeff was enslaved for 20 years.
Jeff was worse than that. Jeff was one of the guys that was enslaving other people for 20 years. I was working for the dark side for a long time, and finally somebody, showed me the light side. I came over from the dark side, and I mean, every day of my life, I literally will
Got a
regret
nice
that, and
email
I
from
hope
Jeff
that
today, actually.
I
It's
can
the
do
first
enough
time he actually
between
sent me a
now
long
and the
email.
time I
Usually
die
just
to
sends
make up
a
for
quick
some of
email
the-
back.
some of
So
what I led people into and had people captive in for so many years.
I have to rewatch the show from
I was
last
good
night
at.
because I fell asleep watching it after I did my late night with DAGR. Did like a pop-up one on Rockfin, so
I know, I think I asked
gotta
you this question
rewatch
the
it.
last time we did it. What do you ever find a unifying attachment that allows that 5%, 3%, whatever there is of us to wake up? What do you think it is?
I was gonna call in again
I
last
think for
night,
some of us it's
and of
trauma.
course cuts the show
I
off
don't know what it
early.
is for everybody,
It's
though.
happened to
I
me
think for a
so
lot of
many
us, though, it is
times in the
trauma.
last month.
Interesting point.
Snooze,
But,
you
know,
lose.
I don't mean to throw a monkey wrench. Well, it was trauma.
Yeah, I like
Because
fell
I had,
asleep
you know,
watching because I woke up and
gonna
I'm
say,
in the morning. I'm like,
my lifestyle when I grew up, the worst
did
trauma
I
I
do
ever
my
had was myself on
show?
the sand
Oh no, I
at
watched
the
this.
beach in my front yard. But
And I looked on the floor. My phone was on the
wake up
floor.
when
Must have
my wife
fallen
went off my
asleep and
piano
dropped it on the
player
floor. So
everything crashed around me. So it was severe trauma that caused me to snap out of it. So you guys are right.
Yeah, I think that dark night of the soul is kind of what you're inferring, Zach. But I also think there's a karmic effect.
I was pretty
I think
tired,
some
but I
of us,
didn't have to
who
work.
have,
Start work
really
with my
old
buddy till
souls,
10,
probably
so I
lived,
got
who
to
knows how
sleep in
many
a little bit. So
go-rounds,
same
just,
tomorrow.
you know,
Mr.
itching to
Karen
wake
doesn't want
up
me to
early
go there
than,
early
you know,
because it's
somebody
really
who's
cold in the
older
morning.
in
So
advance. I just see so many
hopefully
people
he
so
has the
intellectual,
DeLorean at his house
but
because
yet
I
literally
definitely
cannot
want to
see the
check
forest
that
through the
out.
trees, you know,
If he lets me go check it out, I want to get a picture with it.
It's mind-blowing to me.
I know I have to go back and help him at his
It's
cottage.
the greatest
but,
mystery of this world to me.
I don't think we have much to do over there
It's the
tomorrow.
same
So
thing. I think all of us who are awake, you know, witness and live the same thing, and we all ask the same questions why. So
Do you have anyone in your family that's awake?
my mom, sort of. She's awake to a lot of things, but she's half awake. I mean, she
yeah,
still
it's
falls
starting
for
to
the
cool
whole
down.
thing,
It's like
so.
I think it's
Well,
-2
Jeff
tomorrow
and I talk
morning.
about this. All the baby boomers are, you know, conditioned by the boob tube. That's all they've grown up on, and that's the greatest conditioning.
Yeah, my parents were definitely conditioned by the boob
Exactly.
tube. They
I meant to
watched
say that.
news
Religion,
morning, noon, and
government,
night.
and then
Yeah,
the
it's
super
getting
mind
cold, but it
control
was nice and warm. But
television.
during the day, it'll be 16
Absolutely,
degrees
absolutely.
Celsius. So
Zachary,
it's
let
gonna
me
be warm in the morning or in the
let me
afternoon, just
trigger
not in the
Jay here for
morning.
a second. We've talked about this, and when you think about the things that have happened, we've had Catholic, you know, Christian places burned down.
Woohoo!
We've had
I like that.
Islamic places
Burn, baby,
attacked.
burn.
We've had Jewish places attacked.
Right.
And I have postulated the theory, and Jay thinks I'm crazy as hell, that instead of trying to incite a political war, a religious war, is it possible that they're trying to build enough sympathy for all three religions and enough angst within all three religions that they'll come to the realization that they can't individually conquer everything, but if they come together and reunify, they can split it all up and divvy it up between themselves at the table. Are they setting us up for a reunification of Abrahamic religion so they can collectively take over the rest of us that they can't seem to individually conquer?
That's a very interesting theory. That very well could be it. The way I perceive it is they're just working at building hate in the world and anger towards all groups that they possibly can.
Right.
Religious, race, sexual orientation. That was my take, but now that you say that, I mean, yeah, that's absolutely
Divide
a
and
relevant
conquer as
point.
many
That could
people as
be
you
what they're
can.
up to.
So to that point, Jeff, and I, you know, I don't hate you for saying that. Obviously, I disagreed initially because I think of Albert Pike, right? And Albert
And
Pike,
we all disagree. That's the beauty of this. If we all three agreed, it would be a really boring show.
right? But Albert Pike, right? If Albert Pike is true, and you know, Zach, there's obviously tons of numerology and gematria with, you know, the Masons and all that. But if what he said is true, that the war to end all wars, which again was World War III, which is the war to end all religions, then Jeff's wrong. But if they're really smart and they're doing the inversion now, because obviously there are more of us, even though I don't know if there really is that many of us. I think we're kind of our own echo chamber. We kind of sometimes think
That's
the
true.
forms make it up. But the truth is what if Jeff is right, and that would be the ultimate inversion, because everybody's waiting for this religious war, and maybe they just dropped the false, you know, Jesus, the plastic Jesus. as
Plastic
Jeff calls it,
Jesus.
you know, who can then just like
Movie true
holographically
stories.
project it over
No, I
every
haven't heard
continent
that
and, you know, then speak the language or the native tongue of those people here.
I haven't really watched too
And
many
now we're
movies
all
lately.
under one world government.
Okay.
Talking
so
heads.
I
That was a
have
good
this
band.
number.
Zach.
So what I've been talking about nonstop since September of 2018 is for people to watch out for the dates of Tisha B'Av this year, which is August 10th and August 11th, 2019. And to me,
Oh, the
they were
movie
very
True Stories
dates,
is from the
August
80s?
11th. What Tisha B'Av is to remember the days of Jewish tragedy, namely the destruction of the two temples, Solomon's temple and Herod's temple. It's also the start date of World War I. It's the date the process of the Holocaust supposedly began. A lot of things connected to Jewish tragedy are connected to Tisha B'Av. And last year, 2018, around the time of September 11th, the story was circulating in the mainstream headlines about the unblemished red heifer being born,
Right.
Revelation on the way, and the third temple on the way, and the Jewish Messiah arriving. So the stories around that time were quoting the number 118, and I said, 118. That's funny because Tisha B'av falls on August 11th next year, which is now this year, 2019, a date that can be written 11/8. Now check this out. Everyone can go verify this. The synagogue shooting October 27th in Pittsburgh was reported to have happened at 11:08.
Our parents used to watch morning, noon, and night.
Kind of like 11:08.
Yeah.
The mosque shootings on the Ides of March, which, by the way, I told
And they
people
would change the
Circle
channel if they were
October
watching
was
something
connected to
else.
The bombing scares, if you remember that, the mega bomber. That's why he was apologizing in the media the day after the Ides of March mosque shootings. It's all connected propaganda. But the shootings in Christchurch, New Zealand, that targeted the mosques, an obvious, religion riddle, Islam and Christianity. If you look up the address of both those mosques, they end with 8011. Both of them, 8011.
Wow.
Again, those digits, 811, kind of like August 11th.
Right.
Then you had two religious structures burn April 15th. You had Notre Dame in Paris, and you had Al-Aqsa Mosque in Jerusalem, near the site of where the third temple's to be, at the site of the Dome of the Rock, which is what some Zionists, they want to demolish the Dome of the Rock and build the third temple right there, even though there's no, historical proof that either of the first two temples were there. But both of those events happened exactly 118 days before August 11th. And again, Tisha B'Av, to remember the destruction of the two temples, you had two religious sites burning, a Catholic site and a Muslim site, 118 days till. And now after this synagogue shooting, they set up a GoFundMe raising $118,000. Why would you raise $118,000?
Wow.
And
That's just crazy.
yeah, my video calling attention to that's what got struck. And
Zach, why didn't they have a synagogue attack simultaneously with the church and the mosque?
Say that again, Jeff?
Why do you think they didn't have a synagogue attack simultaneous with Notre Dame and that mosque?
Well, because two's the number, right?
Oh,
Two.
you're right.
So they had two sites. And what I said right after that is I said, are we going to see another synagogue shooting before August 11th? Because then we'll have two synagogue shootings. And, well, now we got it. So I don't think we'll see any more synagogue shootings, at least until August 11th.
Let's hope not.
So,
Hold on, Zach. I want to stop you real quick because when you and I spoke last time, remember you actually predicted, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you actually think that either August 10th or August 11th, something massive is going to happen. Correct? This isn't going to be some BS. This is going to be a major 9/11 type false flag, maybe even much more significant. Correct?
I do, because I think, okay, so check this out. Israel was established May 14th,
Oh, banner, you mean?
1948, right?
Yep.
May 14th. So here's what's interesting about that. That means that this year, May 14th, it's going to be 71 years of Israel. And what's interesting about that is the word temple equals 71. And this is their plan to bring about the third temple so they can usher in the Jewish Messiah. Okay? Talmud, the Jewish text that says non-Jews are a lesser race.
Yeah.
Goyim,
Goyim.
Gentiles.
Yeah.
Talmud equals 71. So this 71-year anniversary is something to look out for.
Wow.
And from August 11th to Benjamin Netanyahu's birthday is 71 days this year.
Jeez.
Yeah.
And baby did get reelected.
The Battle of the Benjamins,
Yes.
a complete joke. And right after you had that puppet congresswoman say it's all about the Benjamins with AIPAC, all of this stuff is a scripted web.
Right.
And of course, Benjamin's being slain for dollars, so it really is
Wow.
a battle of the Benjamins. It's all about, what's the old golden rule? He who has the gold makes the rules.
Right.
Exactly. And the thing is, too, Donald Trump, the election for him was November 8th, another 11/8 day.
11.
And right now, there's a shekel on sale in Israel with Donald Trump and King Cyrus's face on one side and the third temple on the other. And that shekel's being sold to raise money to build the third temple. That shekel actually went on sale April 12th last year, which is the 102nd day of the year, and shekel equals 102. But
Wow.
what's so interesting is Donald Trump
They love their
is the
shekels.
winner of the 58th U.S. presidential election. He announced he was going to run for president from the 58-story Trump Tower. for Inauguration Day, it was big news that he got rid of the guy who'd done all the ceremonies for half a century, and instead he hired the 58-year-old Steve Ray. Hillary put out a book about why she lost, called What Happened, which equals 58.
Right.
So does
Hey,
Freemasonry,
Steve-O.
so does Rosicrucian, so does Rose Cross. So does
Just
Secret
watching an
Society.
old
Anyhow, this year from Trump's
classic
birthday
D program
to
on
August
Odyssey
11th
here.
is 58 days, and all of these things sum to 58. Third Temple, Herod's Temple, Solomon's Temple, Jerusalem. They're all 58. Donald Trump was in Jerusalem for Jerusalem Day, May
Your favorite
22nd,
politician, your favorite
2017,
president, Steve, Donald Trump.
exactly 811 days before August 11th, the date in the U.S. that we do write 8/11 like 811. And the thing about May 22nd and August 11th is those dates are reflections of each other. May 11th is the 142nd day of the year, leaving 223 days remaining. August 11th, the 223rd day of the year, leaving 142 days remaining. So you just start to look at all these pieces and the way they align. August 11th this year, not only is it Tisha B'Av, it's also the Muslim day of sacrifice, and it's also the time of the Hajj when the Muslims are making their pilgrimage to Mecca.
Wow.
Very significant day.
Al-Qaeda was supposedly established in history on August 11th. And if you look it up, August 11th, 1988, supposedly the day Al-Qaeda established.
Al-Qaeda.
Exactly. Today, this ISIS leader, supposedly his tape emerged.
Oh, nice. I'll definitely do a live on that one.
And
Sweet.
here's the kicker out of this. Again, today has 52 date numerology. Terrorist equals 52, so does ISIS. They're both 52. Like how Osama died 5/2, supposedly, May 2nd. And this terrorist name for ISIS.
Did you stay up for the whole Brockfin exclusive last night? I fell asleep. Woke up with my phone on the ground.
Is a span of 105 days.
I was exhausted.
Zionism and Masonry are also 105. So, if you continue to pay attention to the events and the way they're rolling out and what they're encoding in all of these religious attacks, it's just the same repetitive patterns, and they're all pointing to the same day. Yesterday, April 28th, was the 118th day of the year, Orthodox Easter.
Good for you, man. I fell asleep. I'm going to rewatch it after this if I'm still not too tired.
The shooting across the street from the Baptist Church in Maryland at the
I was hoping Jeff would have uploaded on Odyssey, but he uploaded this short David Vos video instead. So
this looks like another one. So anyway, I've been talking for a minute. Back to you, gentlemen.
Zach, somebody's asking in the chat room, and I think I know the answer to this. They clearly are seeing the reality of gematria on a societal level, on a national level. Does gematria also apply to people's personal lives on an individual level?
So there is absolutely an organic side to this. It's the last chapter of my book. That was the most shocking part to me. I was like, wow, there's an organic side to this. And I think that's part of the reason that they use this code, because there is some real world significance to it, and it's like they're trying to manipulate the code or manipulate the matrix. So just real quick, to give you a quick example, just using myself. If you do a web search on Google and you type in what's the coldest day ever recorded, it's going to pull up July 21st, 1983, and it's going to tell you that the record temperature is negative 89 Celsius.
wow.
And what's funny is that's my
That's balls
now,
cold. Minus 89.
Names in my name,
Oh,
using the most pure cipher, the alphabetic order with the rules of numerology. My father's full name, my full name, they both sum to 89. And my mother's birthday is September 8th, a date written 8/9, like 89 in the majority of the world. And 89 is the 11th Fibonacci number, which are said to be the numbers of God. The next Fibonacci number is 144. And from my parents' birthdays, they're exactly 144 days apart. So, from myself to yourself, if you start to look at this, you're going to find these organic synchronicities that'll blow your mind. Some people say, well, how do you know that every day that what we're seeing in the media is not organic? And the way they contrive these names and stuff, and the details and the lack of evidence for the highly suspicious stories that never add up, it's easy to see the manipulation in the media and to be able to contrast that with things that are organic. But yeah, there is an organic side of this code. So.
So Chuck, I mean, we talked about this last time you were on the show, but I think that this proves, and again, we can't physically prove this, you know, we just can postulate, but this is truth. This to me makes it the reality that we are in a simulation that much greater. Because when you can control the outcomes like they're clearly doing, and,
Definitely a matrix or some sort of simulation
we
for
are
sure.
all living in the Truman Show. And when we know that
Another Jim Carrey movie, The Truman Show.
I mean, there's no other way to really control for any of this other than to say that this is literally
Jim Carrey
a
was in that one.
simulation. We are in a sim. What do you say to that?
I'd say it's entirely possible. It's entirely possible. So, like you said, we can't prove it, but we can observe it and say, well, what in the world is going on if it's not a simulation?
Right.
And Zachary, let's say that we had a significant event happen in our lives or a significant event in history, and we wanted to look at the gematria of that date. I know it's probably in your book, but just kind of walk us through a little bit if you can. What are some of the ways you would go about looking at and studying the gematria of, let's say, a certain event that occurred on a certain day?
Sure. So you would want to measure from your birthday to the day it happened. You'd want to start there. You'd want to look at that distance in days. You'd also want to look at the numerology of the day it happened, and you'd probably want to know the numbers that connect to your birth numerology and your name. So you'd want to have these numbers in mind. What's my numerology from my date of birth? What's the number that's connected to my name? And, you know, let's just say your name was, your name summed to 98. And you said, you went back and looked at this, you know, major event in your life. You might find like, wow, that happened 98 days from my birthday too.
Wow. Would you also do the gematria of other people's names that might have been involved in said event with you?
Of course. You want to look at the people connected to you. Absolutely. And do the same thing, measure from their birthday. So,
Amazing stuff. Amazing stuff. Yeah, the book is called Letters and Numbers. And Zachary, is it true, would you say that if a person gets your book and reads it, how proficient should they be by the end of that book in working with these numbers and starting to see these patterns yourself?
Sure. So my book's massive. It's almost 800 pages long. You don't have to read the whole book. If you read the first 2 chapters, if you read about 50 pages of that book, you're going to be light years ahead. If you knew nothing about this knowledge and you read the first 50 pages, you'd be a world ahead. You'd probably be as far as I was after.
Yeah, my parents lived in Largo for 10 years.
So the book's only $5.
Nice little town
I mean, if you read
outside
the
of
whole book,
Tampa.
I mean, you'll have a whole lot of information and knowledge to work with. But if you just read those first 50 pages, you'll be deep. And
I sure actually where Jeff is from, that area. Clearwater is right beside Largo.
I guarantee the first chapter will blow your mind. But the second chapter is where you start to
I think
figure out how
Cynthia
to
used to live in Largo, I think she was
use
saying.
it, and it's really intuitive. This is not rocket science. I could teach this to second graders.
Right.
If you,
Doing
you can
drive-bys.
read and write and do basic arithmetic.
You're a gangbanger?
Well,
Nice.
You know, Zach, as Jeff and I say every day, that actually eliminates about 50% of the population.
It does.
They would love
What
to
else do you
eliminate
wanna
50%
point
of the
us to,
population if they
numbers-wise,
could.
Zach, before we start
They
going
did a
down
pretty
the
good
road,
job
sports is
slowly, though.
fascinating.
Everyone taking their
Within,
sweet time.
Recent events, religious events, cultural events.
Sure.
And do you think, I was going to say this, I believe, you get into Donald Trump and that he's
Santa
bought and
Rosa
paid for
Beach.
literally
Is that
$200 billion
south
in
or
people
North
put up
Florida?
the third temple. If I was a betting man,
Because
I
my
would
parents
bet
were
that
over,
Trump gets
I think
reelected, hands
Tampa,
down,
that
the
area is
election's
North
over. They got
Florida,
to
I
keep
think,
him
right?
there to get him to build that third temple.
South
for
is
sure.
near Miami.
What do you think?
You know, I'm torn on if Trump's going to do another
Panhandle,
term
that's the
because
bottom,
they
isn't it?
compared him to JFK and Nixon, 2 men who didn't finish their first.
Ooh,
So I'm torn. I honestly don't know.
interesting. Okay.
Yeah. I could see it going either way. I'll tell you this, the name Trump does equal 88. 88, does that mean 8 years? So,
Well, I mean, the only thing I would say
nice.
that I agree with you guys, there's really no way to know, but I kind of feel now that what they've done with the economy and how they've just enabled the Ponzi scheme.
Should have been
to
8
continue,
years.
Even though there's nothing, this is where, everything now is just pure hype. It's all air.
Instead,
There's no
Beau
fundamentals
Biden's
driving
in there.
anything anymore. People are running out of money, but yet they keep
Robert
suppressing
Phoenix.
interest rates and artificially through qualitative easing and whatever
Who's
else they're
Robert
doing.
Phoenix?
I mean, what's going
Oh,
on?
is Jeff on
economically
somebody's
right now
show
just
tonight? Is that why he wasn't on?
mind-boggling.
Right.
Nothing is supportable.
I'm
So,
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I'm so glad you brought that point up because I forgot to say something really important. So let me say this, and then I'll close with today's news stories in 119 because people have to hear this stuff. But what you just said about the economy, when Donald Trump was running for the presidency, the big hit show about the presidency was House of Cards on Netflix.
Right.
And House of Cards is terminology for a company or an economy that's on the verge of collapse.
Right.
And here's the kicker. House of Cards equals 134. So does Make America Great Again, 134, right? And this connection with Trump and
Wow.
Israel's establishment date is
creepy.
May 14th, which is the 134th day of the year. We know who runs the money show. Now, I've been talking about
Did you listen to it?
The English way to say Tisha B'Av is 9th of Av.
Oh, I see.
Tisha B'Av equals 134. So does 9th of Av. There's all these 134s, and that's another number they continue to code in all these religious shootings. So I'm
just watching this on Odyssey because
after whatever they have planned
he
for the
didn't
weekend of
post
August
last
11th,
night's
I think
show on
sometime in the fall this year,
there's an
we might
Odyssey
see
official
also a
and
major
Odyssey
economic
unofficial.
fallout. Notice in the past,
The unofficial one has all the old shows and the official one has all the most
which
recent.
makes so
And
much
there's
sense,
nothing
right? The way they do things.
Well, so
recent
Jack, I would agree with
on
you
here,
100% because, you know, Jeff, and again, I talk about Jeff all the time and everybody in our
He
circle.
didn't post the stuff
My
from
guess is that we will see
Rockfin on
in
here,
the fourth
unfortunately.
quarter, maybe late third quarter, total collapse this year. And I say that because, again, in the business world that I'm in every day, I see people that have no money. I talk to banks and credit union, you know, vice presidents and people on a daily basis or every other day basis, and they're telling me stories of what's happening.
I worked for my buddy today. I hadn't worked for him
People
since
purchased on
September
refinances, they're taking
because
people's
he didn't have enough work for us. So it said he just because the guy that replaced my buddy ended up moving in with him, so he was like basically working to pay rent. So that's why he didn't really need me. But in Canada, it's so bad. They can't find anybody to work because Amin's a international student, so they were only capped at being able to work 20 hours a week. And they basically scrubbed that and said, you can work as many hours as you want now because there's not enough people to work. So he's starting working for in telecom, I think it is, a delivery service. So that's why I was able to work with my buddy today, Steph. So crazy. There's not enough people to work here, so they're letting international students work full hours, as many as they want now.
No, I don't live in
Crazy.
fear. And like
Good for him for, you know,
what's the worst thing we've seen in our lifetime?
being able to work
9/11
full
and Russia
time.
and the World Trade Centers,
But that just shows you how sad it is. People don't want to work.
Yeah.
I don't live in fear. I just call out what these people do.
I don't live in fear either.
But these people are going to continue to plant their false flags and lead us down their
Full banners.
terrible path they have us on. So
Jeff, at this point, is it people? I know you're completely have turned them, you know, as I've always been, we've turned religion upside down. Is it demonic astral entities that are
Yeah, so I get to work a little more.
Are the people
So I
astral
worked with him
entities?
today.
I
We're
want your
going
answer.
back
What is
to
it right now? What is your best guess?
Mr.
That's a really good
Kaz-
point. And I actually
Is
was
it Kazim?
studying something this
Karam's
weekend and did a show yesterday.
house
kind of
tomorrow, and I
addresses
went
that.
on his website and
Wayne
checked
was
out his
talking
car
about
collection.
Wayne Steiger, our
I'm
Wayne
hoping he has his
Steiger
DeLorean
channel,
at the
why it
house because I
seems
want
like
to check out his
2,000 years
DeLorean,
ago,
man.
the
He also has another car that's like even
intellectual
rarer.
development of humanity as a whole
It's like
in
from
terms of IQ and stuff
Clockwork
just
Orange,
kinda came
the
to
orange
a
car in Clockwork
stop.
Orange. He has one of
And we're
those.
not growing.
Yes,
Our
they're
IQs
like
aren't getting bigger.
friggin'
They aren't
so
getting
many
better. We're
cars,
just kinda
man.
stagnant. And I have
Crazy.
to wonder, and this is really out there, is it really just the same amount of souls and we just keep getting reincarnated into these same meat
Yeah,
suits?
1975,
and they somehow,
yeah,
through
pretty sure.
our acquiescence or through us allowing religious entities to possess us or taking part
One of
in
his
rituals
cars
that we
didn't
think
have a
are
picture
good
because it's been in
Christian
storage
helpful
for
rituals
30
or really dark
years.
rituals.
So,
Have they locked us
I'm gonna ask him about that one tomorrow. Like,
immortality, and we're just
so I'm
grinding
guessing
and
he doesn't
grinding
have
and grinding.
all of them
Like
at his
anything else,
house.
you use it over and over and
I don't
over.
think he's got
and
enough
it's
room
gonna
for
stop
all of
getting
them.
better. It's going to start
I
declining.
don't think I saw the DeLorean. I think I would have recognized it unless it was in the.
Hard, ridden hard and put away wet, as we used to say in the
Yeah, he
South.
told me it was
And we
the
just
only movie he
can't-
had
it's
ever.
unsustainable.
Oh, Clockwork
Well, Zach,
Orange.
who do you think it is? I mean, Jeff,
Yeah,
that's a
it
good
was a
question, but who do you
weird
think it
movie
is?
for
Is
sure.
Is it a non-ethereal, a non-physical force? Obviously, it's anti-human, right? We know that through transhumanism and all this gender shit they're doing, they don't want us alive.
took a
They're
video
attacking us
of
from
the,
multiple fronts in the
Souped
food,
up
air,
Jaguar, like
plastic,
he
and construction
had
chemicals.
the
I mean,
double.
it's
Oh,
anti-human that's
nice.
doing this.
My parents were married in
you guys see this
1975.
in December, and like I said then, I honestly don't know, but it does seem that it's something
Took a video of that double Jaguar emblem and
Zach, if you
hood
come to
ornament,
a
and
definitive
pretty
answer
cool.
as to whether or not there's a team of experts in a room somewhere putting together the gematria, or if it's being spontaneously generated through artificial intelligence.
And I wonder that same question. So
If it's a simulation, it's both.
Yeah.
There's a master puppet,
Master
engineering the
puppets.
show. Enjoy the show.
Enjoy the show.
What do you want to get into, Zach, as we close? And I hope you're going to touch on sports a little bit too.
Oh, absolutely. We'll get into sports. Just real quick, the 119th day of the year. Again, a terrorist plot thwarted in L.A.
Right.
Again, today's the 119th day of the year, the date with 52 numerology. Just like how Osama died 119 weeks after Obama took office on May 2nd, 52. Terrorist equals 52. Government 52. The terrorist comes in California.
You started early, eh, Steve? You're a driver way back when, eh? It's funny because Mr. Karam has like all these little. It must have all these little pedal not pedal. They're
So Zach, I
all
got you
motor
what you're saying.
little
Hold on,
cars
yeah,
and
I
trucks.
know
Must
what
be
you're
for his
saying is-
grandkids all over the place on the
And
property
I didn't even
too.
know. I live in California. I don't pay attention to this. I'm, serving my mission. You told me I just Googled it while we were here, but literally, this is predictive programming. Terrorist attack thwarted in LA, so they're prepping us for the show that is going to happen when you're probably right. That's
I
right.
agree.
Well, they're not pedal cars because they're like all.
Everything they laid down is like
They
a
look
riddle
like
for
they
the
had
next move.
they're electric or whatever.
So here's another story today.
Some of them might even be
The
gas.
Deputy
Like they look
Attorney
pretty
General
good
Trump,
for
Rod
like.
Rosenstein resigns, and
But,
as I show, everything.
Yeah,
that goes
well,
on
new
with
age.
the
Yeah, back in the day they were
government
pedal
is a
cars, but
puppet show.
now a little
So
bit
this announcement
higher
comes
end.
April 29th, the 119th day of the year, and his announcement is that he's going to resign May 11th. So he announces today that he's resigning May 11th. So he makes the announcement on the 119th day of the year. If you look up his birthday, it's January 13th, which means he's going to resign on his 119th day of his age.
Jeez.
So I've been talking about 119 in Trump since the moment he was announced as the 45th president-elect in the early hours of November 9th. The election was November 8th. He was called president-elect very early November 9th, the anniversary of the fall of the Berlin Wall,
Wow.
a date written 11/9.
It's all about the. It is all about the
Gematria,
numbers.
Donald equals 119. The president in House of Cards, Trump card, House of Cards. The president's name in House of Cards is Francis Underwood. Francis is 119, so is Underwood. And if you go back to 2009 and look up this commercial, Donald Trump counting sheep, he has this commercial for Serta mattresses. At the end of the
Gotta
commercial,
start
there's a
early.
hallway.
Practice
And
makes
there's
perfect,
three
eh,
sheep in the hallway.
Steve?
Two are standing on pillars.
Number
One in the
23.
background has a number 11 on it, and the one in the foreground that he's
Actually,
talking
it's funny
to
you
has a
mentioned
9.
number
So
23.
you have
That's
two
Mr.
sheep
Karam's number on his house.
pillars,
Because all the
11 and
trash
9,
cans have 23 on
Donald,
them.
119 talking to them. And
23.
he says to the sheep number 9, he says,
Hunt
"Looking
Club.
good, number 9, looking good," and he puts his thumb up. Now, what's funny about that is this commercial
Frickin'
came out
mansion's
in 2009.
It's got a friggin' garage, like a.
Together,
But it's like part of the house, like because he has his
and if you
like
look
3 or 4 cars in there.
Trump was wearing the same suit and tie
23 is
that he wore
everywhere.
on
Well,
election night.
2 times
And
3
in
is
the commercial for
6.
Serta mattresses, he
Yeah,
talks about
6,
being
isn't it?
born for the job. I
Yeah.
wonder what job he was talking about.
Michael
Go back and
Jordan's
watch an old
23.
Episode of Suddenly Susan from decades ago. The episode came out on May 8th. It's about Donald Trump as the president. 5-8, like how he won the 58th U.S. presidential election. People get confused. They're like, what? 58? I thought it was 45. Remember, some presidents do 2 terms. So Trump won the 58th election. He became number 45. And with regards to the anniversary of the fall of the Berlin Wall equals 45.
Wow.
What's a trip is the name Donald Trump, like the name Paul Manafort, like a lot of people in this administration, like the name Rosenstein, who's resigning today. All of those names sum to 138. And if you look up what day construction began on the Berlin Wall, it was August 13th.
That's right. Flip.
Date
Yeah,
written
that's right.
13/8. There's been so many
Well,
Trump
in
Berlin Wall
French,
riddles.
you do
And
it.
it's right when he
You
gave
do
that speech to the
the
nation
other way,
about building
right?
The wall that ended at exactly 9:11 p.m.
Flip,
sharp
like you
Eastern.
said.
If you've heard about that Western cartoon that came out when Trump was a child,
Oh yeah, the one about the
Trackdown? Yeah, about the con man named Trump saying that people need to, protect themselves. They need to build the wall. The name of that town in Texas, I can't think what it is off the top of my head, but anyone can verify. Just go look at what the name of the town is. The name of the town sums to 119. And that episode actually came out 37 days from Trump's 12th birthday.
Oh,
37 is the 12th
Steve, you
prime
dropped
number.
the ball,
Just like how
buddy.
I called the Triple Crown, the first Triple Crown in 37
You have to do a
years.
bigger and better
It's
one
the
next time,
12th
then.
Triple Crown horse, 37, the 12th prime. So you got to know your prime numbers in this research. But anyway, this whole row.
Prime time 99, Alex Dunn.
And don't even get me started on the 119 Jerusalem sheep that were sent over from Israel after Trump won the
119
election.
Jerusalem
There's just
sheep.
been so many
Oh,
119 stories and sheep. And
Friggin' sheep.
it really is a mockery.
Zach, with all the political, obviously, like you said, it's a sham mockery. The political system is an absolute farce. Do you believe that these people are under the influence of these beings, these archons, these astral negative things, whatever, or are they? Is it some sort of mass hypnotism / delusion that these are normal people, but then once they are initiated or elected or whatever, and they get into this
Selected
circle of vortex of absurdity, that they aren't even conscious of what they're doing? I mean, what's going on?
That's
1408.
possible.
I don't know who's in that one.
3 of the last 4 presidents were all born a couple months from each other. Bill Clinton, who, by the way, a lot of people don't know this, Bill Clinton's not even really a Clinton. He was born Bill Blythe. His biological father was found dead on the side of the road May 17th, 1946, before he was born in August. And then his mother married into the wealthy Clinton political dynasty in New York. That's
I
why
had no idea.
Oh,
That's
okay.
amazing.
Yeah, I knew that.
Yeah, so-
That trail of all the people the Clintons killed, that's in the beginning of that, yeah.
Bill Clinton, George W.
Wow.
Bush, Donald Trump, all born right there in 1946.
John
I think they
Cusack.
were all raised from birth to.
I bet you they're all Manchurians, every single one of them.
Yeah, and who knows what they've been through? MK Ultra. Who knows?
Right. Well, I think Zach, Jeff and I talk about this all the time. I believe that all of
Greg,
these
I gotta post it. I was coming back from
even
Veterans
celebrities.
Outreach.
These are
Or was it?
people
Yeah,
that
going there and
were
coming back. And
raped,
the
molested,
guy's a nice guy, but he's like totally.
He said MK Ultra,
He
experimented
thinks
on.
he's MK Ultra.
Hello.
I'm posting them on my Freedom Dagger channel. This guy is like hardcore, but he speaks crazy but smart at the same time. So he's definitely an interesting character. Every time if there's a cab with him, I'll almost jump in with him, man. He makes it interesting.
It's called duplicates. They are telling you how.
I just gotta double check the time and dates, and I'll be posting them live tonight probably.
It is mind blowing. But anyway,
I got a couple books. I'm keeping track of my videos, so
this is how they
we started
control
one for the lives, and then
This is how the predictive program.
yeah.
If they have control over.
Never a dull
every
moment, that's for sure.
Celebrity, politico, influencer.
Lots of interesting people here.
Hello. That's how you run the show.
I agree.
Fascinating stuff. It really is. And they really, with everything they got going on, Zach, they still have enough time to worry about pro sports.
We can transition to the pro sports. There's one other story I'd like to talk about today.
Please do.
Okay.
We've got at least 12 minutes. It's your time. We don't want to be.
Oh, we only got 12 minutes. All
No,
right.
we got plenty more than
Another
that.
thing today is John Singleton, the movie director, died. He's
Yep.
been in coma since April 17th.
Yep.
And he's remembered for making Boys in the Hood.
Boys in the Hood.
Oh, that's right.
July 2nd,
was a good movie.
1991. It's about
Boys in the
growing
Hood.
up black in an urban environment in Los Angeles.
Amazing movie. Amazing.
That film released on a date with 119 numerology. And now here he is dead on the 119th day of the year.
Oh,
And that film released July 2nd, the 27th.
Ooh, that was my dad's
anniversary of the
birthday,
Civil
July
Rights Act.
2nd.
In gematria, civil rights equals 64. Like how the Civil Rights Act happened in 64. By the way, Barack Hussein Obama equals 64. Hope equals 64. Elected the 44th president 44 years after the Civil Rights Act. African American 44. Anyway, the first black movie director.
42 is the N-word.
Spike Lee. And from
Jackie
the day that
Robinson's
Spike
number
Lee
was
won the Oscar
42.
to today, is 64 days.
There's a reason why they gave him 42.
Civil rights, 64. The word kill is also 64. So the other thing is, when Spike Lee won his Oscar this year, the first black director, just like the guy who died today was a black movie director. By the way, Hollywood and movie director equal 114. This man died on his 114th day of his age. But from Spike Lee winning when Spike Lee won the Oscar, this year was the 91st Oscars, the 91st, and Boys in the Hood came out in the year 91.
Jeez.
Now, Spike Lee's birth name is Shelton Jackson Lee, which equals 91. Been nominated in the past for the movie Do the Right Thing, which he brought up in his speech this year. Do the Right Thing equals 91. And the movie he won it for this year, which is kind of an insult too, because it's this like provoking movie amongst race, was Black Klansman with that funny spelling, which equals 91. So Shelton Jackson Lee 91, Do the Right Thing 91, Black Klansman 91. He wins it, and then synced up with his award at the 91st Oscars, you get the death of this black movie director, whose biggest movie came out in the year 91. And again, on a date with 119 numerology, and now he's dead on the 119th day of the year. And it's all synced up with the anniversary of the release.
I'm not into sports as much as I used to be, but I could see how fun that would be. Oh, yeah, there's stuff like the hands-on type
Oscar
stuff.
Award. You get it?
Wow.
And this stuff goes on every single day. I mean, this isn't some abnormal thing. When you know this code, you can see what is going on in this world.
I mean, Zach, this is proof it's a simulation, bro. There is no other legitimate explanation.
Well, how about this? How about this? Today, Burger King announced that they're making their vegetarian Whopper go nationwide, and it's called Impossible Whopper because the brand that makes the veggie patty is called Impossible. Impossible equals 119, and they announced this on the 119th day of the year.
Wow.
So these people have
Whopper.
experts at Gematria working for them.
All these corporations do. When you pay attention to these corporate mergers and the supposed dollar prices and the days they do it on, you'll just laugh. It's the same thing again and again and again. You know when AT&T and Time Warner merged earlier this year, or excuse me, they didn't merge earlier this year, but the court approved the merger? That was on February 26, 2019, the anniversary of the 93 World Trade Center bombing.
Wow.
And it was exactly on the nose, 911 weeks after September 11th,
Wow.
911. AT&T is who made 911 the national emergency dialing code. So that's why this AT&T Time Warner merger.
When do we get to try the cricket Whopper? Oh, I won't be standing in line for that. The real Whopper's good though. I like the real Whopper. Not interested in the cricket Whopper. You can have that. I'll give you mine, Steve. They give out free ones. My buddy lives in London, or at least for now, and he wants to get the fuck out because his ex-wife like pretty much owns him after the divorce, and that's where they're building the new. I think the plant's already operational. The cricket plant.
Okay.
Great question.
That said, we can talk about
Has
sports.
secret menu suicide burger.
I just
Nice.
helped a ton of people win a ton of money. I helped a lawyer get much richer. He bet 10,000 on Tiger. I had a lot of people bet thousands on Tiger for the Masters because I told him it was a done deal. Tiger would win the Masters this year. I wrote about it last August, why Tiger was going to win the Masters and why Brooks Koepka would place, which both of them did. Here's how it was so easy to tell. The entire world of sports is fixed.
Yep.
Tiger won his first Masters in 97, 22 years ago. He won his last major 11 years ago. The master numbers are 22 and 11.
Wow.
So 22 and 11, I wonder what he's going to do in this Masters. The Masters.
The
Now,
Masters.
wait, hold on one second, just because I've seen this, just so people understand what you're saying. Let me put this in perspective. What Tiger did is almost a mathematical impossibility.
It's one of the greatest sports feats ever accomplished.
So it's clearly, as Zach said, again, Occam's razor.
Right. And here's the evidence that this wasn't the work of a simulation. This was the work of scripting. A few more things about this. The last time Tiger won the Masters was 14 years earlier. Not to be confused with his last major.
Right.
Yeah.
Equals 14. It's why there was.
Well, if you listen to Rabbi Finkelstein, you know what kind of meat they serve at McDonald's.
Prime number.
100% Canadian beef.
Tiger.
Yeah, and you're eating your own kids. You know what I
There
mean?
was the death of a golfer in his hotel room at the tournament that was going on. And I pointed out that that golfer's name, it's summed to 99, like green jacket. And he dropped dead on Tiger Woods' 99th day of Tiger's age. So Tiger was 99 days into his age of 43. Green jacket equals 99. The golfer who died, his name equaled 99. If you did the golfer who
I'm younger
died
than
and
Tiger
his name with
Woods.
the rules of numerology, it's some
Tiger Woods is getting old, man.
Also, like Tiger Woods equals 54. Tiger Woods' caddy wears the number 54.
Oh,
This year, the Masters began on a date with 54 numerology. And the stat after the first 3 days,
Numerology is an
Tiger
interesting
had never
thing,
won a
man.
Masters after trailing after the first 54 holes. Well, he broke that streak and he won it this year. And
Do you think the fact that the Clemson Tigers won the national championship had anything to do with it?
you know what?
yeah.
It probably did. And I talked
He
about
went to
Clemson being
Clemson,
in
and
the
then-
championship months in advance this past year because they had a former player drop dead by the number C.J. Fuller, and his death was perfectly synced up with the championship date. And Dabu Sweeney just got his big contract extension perfectly synced up with winning the championship. Sweeney's 109, 109 is the 29th prime, football's 29. He just got his monster contract extension 109 days after winning the championship. The entire world of sports, college and pro, is scripted by this code. People just want a lot of money off me because I said Virginia or Duke would win the championship on February 8th. So I told my people who follow me on Patreon, bet Duke and Virginia right now and hope it's Virginia because they have better
Soylent
odds.
Green,
One of those two teams is
1979.
winning the college championship.
79 is a
And
good
the reason
year.
I knew that is because on February 8th, the news story broke about the lieutenant governor in Virginia, Justin Fairfax, raping a woman while a student at Duke. And that news story
What?
broke the day before Duke and Virginia played in the regular season.
Oh,
Duke
wow.
would win that next day, 81-71. Very funny because it was the 81st March Madness this year, and March Madness equals 71. Now, the thing about the lieutenant governor is his name was Justin Fairfax. Justin Fairfax equals 59, and from the day the news broke, February 8th, to the day of the championship, April 8th, was 59 days later. When you flip the alphabetic order around, Justin Fairfax equals 85 like basketball. I showed everybody this February 8th. Lo and behold, Virginia does win the championship, and they win with 85 points on exactly 59 field goal attempts. Anyone go look up the box score.
Wow.
But it's also the reason the first March Madness was in 85. Again, basketball equals 85. But again and again, news and sports perfectly scripted together. The other day, a lot of people crapped their pants going with my San Jose Sharks pick. I said the Sharks were going to pick up their 113th playoff win on the 113th day of the year. Late in the game, they were down 3-0 with about 10.5 minutes left to play.
Unbelievable. You called that?
Yeah, exactly, Steve. I make my own shows now. That's my own entertainment. Got enough watching JD and Steve Borg's Freedom Fires and all a bunch of cool stuff. I don't want to watch fake movies.
If you look at the news right now, it is just full.
I used to watch movies all the time. We used to go to West Edmonton Mall and watch them all the time at, especially like IMAX and that. But
people don't understand.
not really
San
interested
Jose was
anymore.
down 3-0 with about 5 minutes left in the game. Game number 7.
10.5 minutes left.
Yeah, it was almost over. And they get a major penalty, which the NHL has now admitted, oh, we blew it. A major penalty means you score a goal, usually the penalty's over. No. San Jose scored 4 goals in 5 minutes.
Really less than that. The power play was 5 minutes, but they scored those 4 goals in about 3 minutes of game time.
Isn't
Yeah, the
that
Leafs seem
And
to
what was
get
comical
screwed
is they
over
went
like
up
that all the
4-3,
time
and
too.
San Jose equals 43.
So the moral of the story is you're a retard if you bet on sports unless you talk to Zach.
Absolutely.
Wow.
That is just craziness.
Zach,
That is craziness.
I've always believed, and you know, I was a college and pro athlete, but I've always believed that it was somehow fixed. I could never prove it, but I always had just this feeling and this awareness of the way that math,
The world is a
airwaves and
vampire,
the actual lines were designed, and how like just unbelievable how they would come out like right on the number, like 95% of the time. I remember my dad, who's a sleeper, you know, saying to me, son, they hire people from
Susan
Harvard
B.
and
Anthony
MIT.
coin.
Right.
What's
They
that?
just
Is that
have
like a special
unbelievable
coin?
predictive values and equations, and it's all math. And I'm like, yeah, right, bro. But I mean, I always do, dude.
Exactly. And look, you have to be blind.
Oh, we have $1 coins. We got loonies and we got $2 coins. I fucking hate them. I wish we had
They made the
dollar
game,
bills
they cut
still.
it to 4 points. It's game 7.
Do
It's the end
I
of
have
their
one
season.
here?
They
I
lose.
used to have one
They
right here.
cut the lead to 4 points. There's 30 seconds
I'm trying
left.
to see
The
if I
other
have
team
my
inbounds
coin
the ball,
stuff here.
uses the entire shot clock,
I think
throws
it's
the
in my.
ball up. San
Oh, they're
Antonio
right
doesn't
here.
try to foul. They just let the whole game clock run out.
Change
Nothing else. The game
purse.
just ends. It's like, wait a minute. This window you foul and send them to the free throw
Despite
line.
all my rage, I'm still just ready
They
to
just let the
cage.
whole clock run out.
Was that a rat in a cage? I thought it was ready to cage. I don't know.
And
I'm not good with
That's
lyrics.
every single night. By the way, I also just called the Blazers beating the Nuggets to close it out 4-1.
Yeah, here's our dollar coin.
I said if you're gonna bet Blazers, make sure you don't get beat on the money
Looney.
line. They're not gonna cover because tonight over 80% of the money.
So
is
you
on
got
the Blazers
that,
to
and
cover
there's a
Vegas.
toonie.
I said look for Damian Lillard
polar
to hit a
bear
game
on
winner
it.
in this game because he couldn't have a more perfect alignment. It's 83 days from his birthday.
And we got no
Blazers
pennies
say
anymore.
3+
No more
if you wanna
pennies.
into it. Lo and behold, Damian Lillard hits the game winner. And if you went back and
I'm
watched
a
my live stream
change.
from that day, I was hammering home the point about the number 30.
Hammer.
And the headline was
Hammer
Damian
time.
Lillard closes out Oklahoma City with 37 point, excuse me,
You have a
37
toonie?
shot.
Yeah, the shot was a 37 footer.
It's not so fun when you have a bunch of them. They're way too much. I get rid of them as soon as I
He
can.
could have gone up and took a much better shot.
Right.
It's 'cause
And
it
he's
was
falling
stripped.
away.
I deposited all my
37,
money
Oklahoma
today
City
except for a
picked up their
$5 bill
37th
because it's
loss of
all
the season.
pretty
And
ratty.
This is the thing too. When he
The
hit
bank
that
machine
shot,
wouldn't take
it
it.
gave them 118
I put it in my desk.
Damian Lillard's full name.
Took it out of my
His
wallet.
4-point name, his 4-part name with the senior
4-point
certificates
name.
equals 118. That's a big number in the Bay Area where he's from. But if you go and watch that shot from behind, you can see what I've been talking about for years, that they are using
Take a
technology
shot from
to assert
behind.
outcomes. Nothing is left to chance. Damian Lillard's shot, when he shoots it, the angle's out there from behind him, it's undeniable. It moves like a baseball pitch. That shot is going way left. It has no chance. It's going to airball. It's not even going to come close to the rim. But that ball makes
It is a polar bear,
a
yeah.
curve. And it curves back to the right, and it goes in for
But
the game.
All right, Steve-O, have a good night, bud.
Of a simulation.
Can't wait for
James,
that big
as
Freedom
an
Fire
ex-basketballer,
video.
Is it possible that he was putting that spin on that shot the way it came off of his hand?
No, but I will say this, and again, I don't pay attention.
I'll keep
but
an
I
eye
did
out
watch
for
that
it.
highlight because I had all these people texting me and sending me.
I get to sleep in tomorrow.
And I will say this.
So Karen's like, it's too cold.
Again,
Let's start
as
at
a guy
10
who,
instead of
playing
8.
that
I'm like,
level,
sounds good.
I watched his body, and as he moved and contorted his body, he kind of hitched and then went left. And Paul George, right, one of the best defenders in the NBA, is like right there, and he's much taller and longer. And it didn't look right when I saw the shot because of where his body was and where George was. And then when it went in, it didn't make any sense. And I was like, I need to see that replay again, but it was just a mob action after that, and they didn't really show the replay until later. But you're right, they never showed an angle. You're right, Zach. Jesus Christ, dude, my brain's melting on this because that's what triggered when I first watched it as a player. I was like,
Good old
what did he look
JC.
like when he's shooting it and where his body's squared. Oh my God, dude.
Yeah, get the angle from behind. It's undeniable. You'll see how much that ball turns.
You're right. I never even saw the
Nobody can make a ball spin like that.
Dude, I never even saw the behind angle, but now it makes sense to me. You're right. There's no way that ball should have gone in.
Yeah, it curves huge. I mean, it's like a nice pitch from a baseball player. So
Magnets?
that's the 2007 NBA advertising campaign. David Blaine did a commercial spot for every NBA team that year. It's magnets. People go back and look at the 2007 NBA advertising campaign. Did one for every commercial. Magnets.
Wow.
And the commercial would end with him throwing it hard over his back shoulder and sinking it. And I always say to people, I said, look at what the Harlem Globetrotters are doing. They're making shots out of a helicopter.
That's hilarious.
Flying over in a Cessna and draining it on the first shot. I said, well, you really think these guys are this good?
That's
Obviously,
cool.
Wow. It is.
Toonies were cool when it first came out, but when you have like a pocket full of toonies or loonies, you get like $20, $30, $40 worth of toonies and loonies, it's heavy.
And be like, wow, and speculate and know that we're in the Truman Show.
And they have to have magnets at the strip
club.
clubs because they pick all the toonies and loonies up. Whereas the old days, you used to make it rain with dollar bills.
Loving, being kind. Stop cheating people out of money and doing all these other things. I mean, you can only take care of yourself. I mean, that's all you can do. Do the right things. Try to get out of here.
And you can buy Zach's book, Learn the Code, see through the mirage.
Speaking of Mirage, I just had a Mirage chocolate bar earlier.
So it's been banned twice since I was on last. So it's up on a site called Cells.
Excuse me.
If you go to my YouTube channel, probably the easiest way to get there, if you just search my YouTube channel, Gematria Effect News or Gematria Effect Sports, in the little description area below the video,
that's where I found
there's a link to click on it.
And by the way, I'll put the link in a comment so everybody can get it if they want.
Excuse me.
I mean, this has been the best show, Jeff, we've done on The Last Stand in a while. We got a lot.
Yeah, it's great stuff.
So
great stuff. I'm gonna go ahead and put your channel in here now, Zach.
Thank you.
So people can do that. Gematria Effect News. And I'm gonna go up here. Should I just copy the link off of your YouTube, just hit that letters and numbers book and put the link in?
Yeah, that sells.
Oh man.
Okay.
Jeez.
There it is.
That's enough of that.
So before we let you go, Zach, so what would be your prediction for the August 11th? Whatever that term, the Jewish term is. I mean, what do you think?
Sure. So since it's Tisha B'Av and it's all about two, I'm watching two sites really on that date. It's Jerusalem itself, the site of where they want to put the third temple, the Zionists. And the other place I'm watching is San Francisco, actually. And the reason why is because they say the Jewish Messiah at the time of the third temple will come through the Golden Gate. And of course, it's speaking about the Golden Gate in Jerusalem, but when we hear Golden Gate, it makes
Golden
us think
Gate
San
Bridge.
Francisco.
Right.
And what's so strange is, since we've been watching this, when the baseball schedule was announced, one of these special games that they highlighted for the year was August 11th, 2019 in San Francisco.
No way.
And what they're going to do at that game is they're going to honor the 1989 World Series earthquake team.
Oh, yeah, the earthquake. Oh, my God. So I should get out of California on August 11th is what you're saying.
So check this out. People got to know this. So they're going to play Philadelphia that day, the Philadelphia Phillies. Now, the biblical Philadelphia, the land of the church that receives the letter in Revelation about the synagogue of Satan, the false Jews who lie. Philadelphia, the biblical Philadelphia, was known for having earthquakes, right? And August 11th is the 223rd day of the year. Natural disaster equals 223. And August 11th, if you look this up, that's the date that the patent came out for HARP. The military technology has the power to manipulate weather and even cause earthquakes.
Crazy.
What's interesting is the full name for HARP, High Active Auroral Research Project, whatever it is, that full name equals 223.
Jeez.
And the patent came out on the 223rd day of the year, and natural disaster equals 223. There's so many things about San Francisco on August 11th. The Golden Gate Bridge, the license for construction was issued August 11th. Alcatraz opened August of 11th. San Francisco is named after St. Francis of Assisi. His name equals 118. His first follower, I forget her name, she died on August 11th. There's a big music festival at the site of the Golden Gate Bridge this year on August 11th, and whatever the name of that festival is, it escapes my mind, equals 118. So the two sites I'm really watching right now are Jerusalem and San Francisco. Those are the two cities I'm most curious about.
All right, so Jeff and Zach, I'll give you guys right now a scenario to wipe out everything, right? You take out the bay, you have a 9.4 earthquake come through, which has already happened before in Alaska, initiated by HARP. You wipe out literally Silicon Valley. You take down literally, 15 to 20% of the world's greatest, technology companies. You wipe out the grid. You take out Google's backbone. I mean, let's face it, their servers are all housed in Central California, and some of them are in Colorado in mountains. But I mean, if you take down California, that's going to destroy the economy.
You're right. Yeah.
So that would literally take down everything. Again, all you have to do is just translocate that part of central, northeastern, or northwestern California and destroy just technology, put down the grid, and there's your collapse.
You're absolutely right. In the
Well, we
film,
should definitely
Pacific
keep our eyes
Rim,
open.
San Francisco gets attacked on August 11th by the monsters too.
What movie is that? The Godzilla one?
Pacific Rim.
Oh, that was a good movie, Pacific Rim.
Holy shit.
Are you serious? I didn't catch that one.
Yep.
Wow, Cynthia L says, what would we do without Google? Isn't that the truth, ladies and gentlemen? Zachary Hubbard, it has been a wild ride. It always is when you're with us. Thanks so much. Really appreciate it. Jay, do you have any last words or requests for Zach or anything that you want to leave us with personally?
I think we should bring Zach on, kind of like we told Joseph Farrell. I'd say at least once a month, dude. I mean,
Hey, as often as he wants to come in, we'll do it.
Yeah, as long as we get, especially as we get closer, because I mean, obviously we're helping people. I mean, I live in Southern California. Don't think I'm not going to go home and tell my wife tonight about this day. I mean, I'm definitely going to be on high alert now.
And living in fear is not what we want to do, but being aware is not fear. In fact, awareness and knowledge cancels out fear, in my opinion. So Zachary Hubbard, thanks so much for helping us tonight in that regard. Thanks for blowing our minds, and thanks for opening our eyes to the letters and the numbers. And I do recommend that you get the book. I got it. Jay got it. Be like the rest of the cool kids and buy the book.
Yeah, it's an amazing book.
Zachary, I hope to have you back again soon. All of you in the chat room, we really appreciate you. We appreciate you being here seeking after truth. Thanks so much for Jay Campbell and Zachary Hubbard. I'm Jeffrey Doherty, the Christian Whistleblower, and we'll see you next week. And until then, visit these great sites, get the book, follow Jay's work, and come back here again. We'd love to see you. Thanks again, ladies and gentlemen. You're all very much appreciated.
Thanks, gentlemen.
Take care, guys.
And that was a classic deprogram pre-Late Night in the Heartland with Jay Campbell and Jeffrey Doherty with as the former guest of Late Night in the Heartland and no longer going to be guest. I don't think in the future. Zachary Hubbard, especially after all the videos that Jeff made of him after the fact of the last time he was on the show. So I'm going to head downstairs, bring the empty French onion soup bowl back down and grab some more. And I might do a second one tonight because I'm not tired and I don't have to go to work early tomorrow. So keep an eye out. I might be popping back in a little later. Just gonna, like I said, do a few things and be right back up and see what the next deprogram is on Odyssey here that I got. Actually, I can maybe go right now and check. Do like a preview of what I would be looking at. Just go like that. So what did I watch? I just finished watching Zachary Hubbard on Last Stand with Jeffrey Doherty. And the next one would be My Awakening, episode, well, that's a long one, 73, Jeffrey Doherty interviewed on, Brian Stavely. I don't know, that's a little long. I don't think I might do the other one. Debut, I'll do this one tomorrow night, but I might do debut of Tule Society Minister. That's only 45 minutes. So I'll probably do that one when I get back up here. That way it's not too long. So keep an eye out for me. I'll be popping back in a little bit. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good night, cousins. We'll see you guys soon.